So, welcome to the next video in the formulize tutorial series. This video will go through creating groups and users for the sample application we'll create in later videos. The groups that we're going to create are related to the wildlife preserve, that conservation area that this sample application is intended for. So the groups will be volunteers, rangers or park rangers, and supervisors. Just a simple set of different users so we can show some of the things that formulize can do with different groups of users in later videos. And we'll have some sample users for each of these groups, a few volunteers, a few rangers, and a few supervisors. So to do this, we need to log in to the system if you haven't already, the standalone system that you've set up, and then click on admin. This will take you into the back end of the system, and to create groups and users we go to the system menu and then down to users and groups and click on groups. Now what you have here to begin with is three default groups: webmasters, registered users, and anonymous users. These just represent three main categories of users that you have in any system. Webmasters is just the admin account right now and probably will remain that way unless you have other administrative users of that level that you want to include. Registered users needs to include everybody, every account that exists in the system. And anonymous users actually includes no accounts, but that group exists so that we can assign permission to people who don't actually have accounts in the system yet. So anonymous users are just members of the public who might come upon the site. So to create the new groups, we just simply put the names in here. Volunteers. I've practiced this before, so I'll just pick that, volunteers, and we don't need to check any of these other options. The default choices, default permissions that already exist for the registered users, for all of them in general, should be sufficient. The main purpose of having these groups is so that in formulize we can attach permissions to them. We just need to make sure the groups exist, but we don't need to do anything more than that. So we'll make a group for rangers, and you can always add a description to the groups, but it's not necessary. It's just to aid your memory or understanding of what the groups are for. If you have a complex system with lots of groups, that's certainly a good idea to have a description, but it doesn't have any functional effect in how they work or anything like that. So we'll create a supervisors group as well, so that people who can be looking at some reports are getting notifications of some kind, and we'll create that, and away we go. That's the groups. There's really not much more to it than that. The users, there's a few more steps, so we can go back to system, users, and groups. We go to edit user if you want to add new ones. It's on the edit users page. So we have our one admin user showing up right now, and we can add new ones down here. So we're going to create 6 users, 2 for each of the groups, just so we have some variety. We can log in and out with different people if we need to, or if you want to try some things out later from different perspectives. We have sort of a baseline for that. So the first one, we'll create 2 volunteers, Valerie and Victoria. We'll create 2 rangers, Randy and Rebecca, and 2 supervisors, Susanna and Simon. So the initial letters matching the group name, just to help us remember who's who. So let's create Valerie, and we'll just use the same login name and display name. The difference, the reason there's 2 there is in cases where users would like to have a login name that they type into the website that is different from what shows up for everyone else to see. Just an added security precaution if people want to have a difference there, so that it's harder to know, what your login name is. Email address, we'll just use something made up, like a short format, mail.com. We won't actually be sending any email in this scenario or through any of the later videos, but obviously users normally have an email address, and we'll just put in some dummy password. You can use whatever convention you would like, something that's easy to remember as you use the accounts later on. I'll be using the same password for all the accounts. So the under groups you want to select, rather, I've got this backwards, Um, there we go. We want to have registered users and volunteers. To select more than one option, you can hold down the control key and click. If you just click on something by itself, you'll deselect any of the existing choices. So if you just hold down control, click volunteers, then that'll be no problem. And also we want to set the user level to active. You can have inactive users or ones that haven't been approved by admins yet if you're allowing people to sign up on the website publicly, and then accounts get approved. The account is inactive until it's approved. But in this case, we're just creating full accounts. They will already be active, and away we go. There's also a private message system. You can, and we'll leave this alone for now. When you're creating users, you can also say that when they get notifications, you should send them to their email address. The default is private message. It's really up to you how you intend on that being used. Email is probably more common overall, but again, because we're not going to be sending any email messages, we'll just leave this on private message, and we'll be using the private message system for any notifications in later stages of the tutorials. There's a time zone option too. If users are in different geographic locations, you want to set the time zone so that times show up correctly for them. In our case, it's not really going to matter. We'll just leave that as is. Click Save Changes, and we'll have created one new user in the system. So there's Valerie, and we'll just go on and create the new ones. I'll pause this and come back when that's done. So here's the last user. I've just entered all the users that we'll need. And you could have paused the video or pause it now and do the same thing. This would be the last one. It was Valerie and Victoria, who are the volunteers, Randy and Rebecca, who are the rangers, and Suzanne and Simon, who will be the supervisor accounts. So there they are: login name, display name, email, password, make sure they're active, set the correct groups, and away we go. That will be it for the users. There they all are, organized alphabetically in this case. And with that, we're ready to move on to the next step, which is creating forms, what we're really here for. So you can move along to the next video when you're ready. Thanks.